Hi everyone, I'm Jody Schwan. I am the owner of Sioux Falls Business, but today I'm helping out our friends at the Sioux Falls Development Foundation with a new Facebook Live video series that we are really excited about called Talent Thursday. So this is our first try. It's brand new. If we have any glitches, be patient with us, but we think this is going to be a lot of fun and hopefully really valuable for you. The goal is just what it sounds like. Talent Thursday, every Thursday for the next several weeks. We are going to introduce you to some talent that is working and developing careers and building lives here in Sioux Falls and the surrounding area. And I think we have the perfect person to help us kick it off today. I'm so glad she agreed to do this with us. And it is Tegan Molden. Tegan has a fantastic story. I have been fortunate to know her for years now and be able to follow her career. And I can't wait for you to meet her and to learn more about her. Hi, Tegan. How's it going today?
Good. Thanks for having us.
You're actually in your office. You're back at your office, so that's great.
I am finally off my kitchen table.
Okay, so let's get right to your story. First of all, where is your office? Where do you work and what do you do?
So we are in Sharapa Place, downtown. We are Marsh and McLennan agency, and we are an insurance broker or consultant. So we work with companies to help mitigate their risk. I specifically do employee benefits insurance, so health insurance, dental, vision, life, disability, and helping employers offer that for their employees.
Okay, fantastic. If you listen to that and you're like, I don't know about that, I don't understand that, don't worry. We're gonna break that down. We're gonna tell you what that's all about because that wasn't what Tegan thought that she would do for a career either when she was going through college. Tegan is a basketball standout. That's what brought her to Sioux Falls. Minnesota girl, if I remember correct, and you moved from there and went to USF. So I know that part of your story, but tell us about how you went from being a basketball player at USF to being a client executive over at Marsh & McLennan. How did that all happen?
Yeah. Well, you're right. I'm originally from a small town in Minnesota. Actually, I grew up on a farm like 15 miles from any town. So I was very used to the small town feel, the small town school atmosphere. And that's what kind of drove me to go to Sioux Falls because I still had, it felt small, small enough, but still enough to do. And then I actually went to the University of Sioux Falls, which we know is a smaller institution as well. So it still kind of felt small. I didn't feel like a number. There was only, class sizes of, 20, 30 to 40. It was pretty small in that sense as well. So I liked that about it too. And then I obviously loved the coaches there. That kind of brought me there too, and the professors. And I really didn't know what I was going to go into as far as my major. And so just kind of getting that basic liberal arts education was a really good start for me. And then kind of drove me to more of a business and economics career was kind of where I landed for my major and my minor. So.
Okay, so if that sounds familiar to some of you, maybe you're out there pursuing a liberal arts education, or maybe you're a parent, your child is going through a school like that. We have great liberal arts programs in the Sioux Falls area, but I understand that sometimes you don't know what you're going to do with that. And let's face it, very few college students are out there saying, I'm planning a career in insurance. But once they discover it, they really tend to like it, especially your company. And we're going to talk about why. But, you're gravitating, you're going down this road, Tegan, of business and economics. How did you get connected with Marsh & McLennan?
Yeah, so actually it was someone who worked in our business school office. Her name was Wendy. And I was looking for an internship towards the end of my junior year. I kind of needed one to start getting me to think about jobs and careers after college and not be thinking about basketball all the time. So I was a little bit late in the game that year to find an internship, and actually Marsh and McLennan agency was a little bit late in the game too in offering their internship. So it was kind of a nice meld. She introduced me there and I applied. I went through a couple interviews and yeah, I got the internship that summer along with one other person. So.
Okay, great. If you were just joining us, this is a brand new series that we're doing in partnership with the Sioux Falls Development Foundation called Talent Thursday. And we put this live on Facebook because we are hoping that you will want to interact with us. So if you have questions for Tegan about how she got where she is, or for our other guests that we're going to bring in here momentarily, please do write in with those. If you want to help us spread the word, if you're fans of Tegan, I know a lot of you out there are, help us get a little bit more viewership on this. Maybe hit share, hit like, help us out there. Denise Gazzetta, who leads talent and workforce development for the Sioux Falls Development Foundation, is our host on here today. Denise, if you could tell me if anybody writes in with questions, that would be great. Maybe before
Absolutely.
we go any farther with Tegan, why are we doing this? Help people understand what we're trying to achieve with this series.
Well, one of the interesting things that we're seeing with early career professionals is they really want the whole package when it comes to a career. They want a good career, they want to work in a community that really cares about its people, and they want to be tied to a cause. So we're starting with Tegan and we're starting with Marsh and McLennan because they have a really great, strong story. And it really resonates when you come to Sioux Falls. You have many employers and many talented employees like Tegan that find, their happy place here. So
yeah. Yep. There's such great stories. And, we talk about this a lot, but sometimes we don't personalize it. So we want you to get to know some of the young professionals that are finding just terrific fits here and the companies that are doing so much to support that. So thanks, Denise. Thanks for letting me partner with you in this. Tegan, I'm gonna go back to you now because, internships are critical, right? We talk about that all the time. Most college students know that. Most parents know that. Most employers know that. You had a really strong internship experience, and I know that your company is committed to that. How key was that in helping you make that career decision when an opening then came about at your firm?
Yeah, I think, even just going into my internship, there's no class in college for just insurance. You don't learn about, property and casualty insurance or employee benefits really at all. So I had no real base to even go from. So I kind of learned from the ground up here, and we have multiple different departments here at MMA. And so I actually got to shadow in quite a few of those, whether it was sales, service, the property side, the employee benefit side, the marketing side, employer services and safety was another one too that I got to see. So it was kind of neat to see the full picture and kind of the whole service that we provide for employers. And then I kind of got to see too, what I really kind of fell in love with was just the relationship that we were building with employers, and whether it was the CFO or HR person or CEO, they really felt like we were the expert and we were, so reliable for them, and they relied on us so much. And I really liked that aspect about it, and just building relationships with people is something that I think I kind of thrive in that area, and something that I wanted to be a part of. So
that's great. And probably not what you would have expected. I'm just guessing when you heard insurance. It's not what I would think of when I hear insurance.
No, I think you kind of think of the car salesman type mentality, the under the sleazy kind of salesman, whatever that looks like. I don't know. Everyone says insurance is like male, pale, and stale a little bit too, and that's not at all what this organization is. So.
Right. I think of like stacks of paper and numbers, not so much face-to-face. Kira's laughing. I'm going to bring in Kira Kimball now because she, I think, has a great job, first of all. She is the Chief Innovation Officer at Marsh & McLennan. So she's a coworker of Tegan's and has known her all throughout her career journey. But I'm going to start with your journey a little bit, Kira, because I love the title Chief Innovation Officer. And I think maybe even a lot of young people out there would think that would be a great job to aspire to. How do you get to be a Chief Innovation Officer?
I love the question, and you're right. I have a great job. I have the best job. And the role that I really play in innovating is through creating differentiation for our company. And one of those ways is certainly through talent acquisition and talent development. But my role in innovation is maybe different from other companies, that I'm not focusing on technology and product. I'm really focusing on our employer brand and what our differentiation is from that perspective, and how we really can stand out from our competition and the solutions that we provide and how we show up in the marketplace. So it is super fun because I'm constantly telling our story as MMA, whether it's trying to attract talent like Tegan, and I've had this cheesy smile on my face the whole time listening to her because it's so exciting to hear about her success and her career journey, but also how we attract our clients and our customers and the vibrancy of this industry, because it is often misunderstood. And Tegan is so right. There aren't universities around here that really have risk management programs. So MMA has to be very diligent and intentional about getting out there and connecting with students to tell our story and about the wonderful career that insurance can offer.
So if we have a student out there who's maybe intrigued by this point in our conversation, who might consider maybe a shadow at MMA or an internship potentially, even if that's a fit, what kind of experiences are you offering for students at that very early stage?
Well, our opportunity is really to show them what insurance is about. Because again, they don't have this background and they have some ideas because they've seen their parents maybe on the phone or waiting for the roof adjuster. And we want to be able to tell our own story. So Tegan really shared that our best effort is to give a shadowing type of rotational experience to see our different departments, because department is going to look at the talent through a different lens and the different kinds of skills, personality, attributes, interests that they might bring. So really allowing individuals to see what we do on the day-to-day, if you will, and getting an idea how we work with our clients and really what risk management is about from a human capital perspective, which Tegan is on that team, and then also from a risk management business perspective. And typically when we get students in the door and we give them opportunities to really explore what we do, they get excited about it and they change some of those perceptions that they might have about insurance.
And these are great careers, we should mention, right?
They are. For the person who has an entrepreneurial spirit and a go-getter and really wants to create their own outcomes and dreams, our consulting roles are really for that individual. And for people who love to help others, that's what the insurance industry is really about. Helping others protect their businesses, protect themselves as individuals. It can be very inspiring because that's what we do in and day out. But we also work with lots of different industries. So again, if you're someone who loves a difference in your day and a calendar that looks different Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, this is going to be an attractive element for you because you have a lot of versatility in your day.
And you're not necessarily sitting in an office all day either, right?
You're right. We have different roles that have different opportunities. So someone who's doing consulting is definitely going to be out in the community, out in the region, meeting businesses and being where they might be. Tegan plays that role too, because as a service person who's client facing, she is out and about. But some of our colleagues prefer to be back at the ranch, if you will. And like those stacks of paper, Jody, want to manage all of the to-dos and the customer as a whole and really be that person to coordinate information and make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's as their risk management partner. So again, we have lots of different positions that are going to use an individual's skills differently.
Absolutely. We need them all to balance one another out. We definitely need people to balance those like me out. I'm going to go back to you, Tegan, and this question is going to seem probably completely ill-placed based on what Kira just said, because I'm going to ask you to describe a typical day, and what she just said is that there probably isn't one, right? So maybe talk through a typical week. What are some of the different things that you do as part of your job?
Yeah. So as Kira kind of mentioned, I'm on more of the service team. So I have a book of business that I service and about 25 clients that I am assigned to. And so I'm constantly in communication with them, looking at their claims data, bringing out the claims data, presenting to them. Maybe I'll just talk about my day today. That might actually be kind of a decent example. So this morning, I hosted an HR peer group. So we actually invite together all of our clients virtually now to host an HR peer group for them to kind of share different topics. The topic today was open enrollment. So I did a short presentation there and then open it up for discussion for them to share with one another. So they found that extremely valuable, and I've had the pleasure of kind of creating that and hosting that for the last 5-6 months. So that was the morning. I then went to a client across the street, visited with them, and did a presentation for about 45 minutes to an hour. I came back and worked on another presentation that I have next week for a client. I was on the phone with a couple clients as well. So I think it's really ever changing. It's very challenging as well. I think, we are governed by some different regulations and things that come out from the IRS or the DOL, and that can always throw a wrench into things, if you will. So it's always changing. It's always moving very quickly. And we're entering into kind of our busiest season of the year, which is towards fourth quarter, towards the end of the year. So that's always a crazy busy time, but it's exciting too. So
that's a great overview. That's exactly what I was hoping to get here. Kira, I'm going to come back to you quick here because I think it's good to talk about, Tegan's background obviously is liberal arts, gravitated toward business. If a student is out there watching this thinking, but maybe I'm not prepared to come into insurance. Are there certain degree programs that set you up well for that? Are there certain personality types that are a good fit? Does it matter what you did as an undergraduate? Can you still come into insurance?
That is a great question. And I am here to tell you, students, that you can have any major to enter this profession. I have English and philosophy as a major, and I am in insurance. So really what Tegan and I and our colleagues are looking for is individuals who want to learn, who are interested in problem solving, are interested in developing relationships, and are motivated. Those types of criteria, I really think, set us up for success in our industry. So we're going to teach anyone who comes in the technical expertise that we need. That's something that we believe we're the best experts on, but any major is welcome for sure.
Great.
Good skills and talent. Again, those are things that we'll teach you, and you don't have to have specific attributes to make a difference in this industry.
Great.
And if I could add, Jody, one thing,
yeah,
because one of the things that comes up a lot when people reach out and they ask for advice on jobs and what should they do, and they show me all their assessments. Good transferable skills. That's what we're really talking about here. If you have really good transferable skills, then you can come into a particular industry, a particular company, and be successful. And then as you want those other opportunities in your career and those other journeys, you can then transfer what you've learned to your new job. So people should never be afraid to take a new opportunity, especially in insurance. With all of the changes that are happening, you have a lot of support and commitment to do the sort of the hard training and the technical training. But then, just know that you're transferring your skills and you're really able to carve out really wonderful career experiences. And that's what we're all really meant to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. Thank you for adding that. Tegan, I'm going to come back to you now because, we've talked a lot about your job and what you do. And, you can do that in a lot of places. So what specifically about your company is it that keeps you there? What is it that made you take the job in the first place and that has allowed you to advance and that I think has you see your future there?
Yeah, I think, and this started from, my very first week for my internship. You can just feel the culture of care. They truly do care about you as an employee, whether it's, your emotional well-being, your physical well-being, financial well-being, all of those pieces. And just being comfortable with leadership and management like Kira and being open and them having open doors for you, I think is huge. And just having them, able to have those conversations about growth in your career. Maybe I want to move towards a consultant path and be more of a salesperson. I know I can walk down the aisle here and talk to my supervisor and have that conversation. So just having an organization like that that's so open and willing and so caring about the growth and development of their employees is huge. And I can truly say I have a lot of really good friends here too. There's just some really great people that I've grown very, very close with, and that mean quite a bit to me. So
yeah, that helps a lot. Denise, you work with businesses all the time that are trying to attract and retain talent. What are some things that you see in Marsh and McLennan that you think helps them achieve this?
I think, we're talking about it here today, a very strong employer brand. So what that means is they take what their employees are saying, and they have more and more employees that are saying this, and then that becomes what externally they're putting out there. So when you talk about the care and the consideration and the thoughtfulness, it's because their employees really experience that firsthand. And that is really a progressive trait, especially in the insurance industry, which is very competitive when you're looking to make your mark there. To have that as a differentiator is huge. So I'd say that's the one thing is always look at what your employees and listen to what your employees are saying, because you want your best support to come from within. And so I always used to say, if you're taking care of the core, everything else will fall in line and will work beautifully. So that's the number one message that I say to employers, is just make sure that they're listening. And then from that, they can develop strategies around those different types of people that they need. And even, somebody like Tegan, they're coming in with a liberal arts background into a very technical financial arena. So how can you then map out what you need there so she's going to be successful? And ultimately, that investment in her is why she's staying. So, which is huge.
Mm-hmm. I can see employers watching this and thinking, well, what do I need to do? How do I attract someone like Tegan? How do I become the type of business where someone like Tegan wants to go work, wants to tell her friends about? Kira, are there other things that you have done intentionally, strategically to create that kind of place?
Well, when we think about attracting talent and the kind of talent we want to attract, and especially the Gen Z generation right now, we are really mindful about what they want out of the workplace. And if we're trying to attract that kind of talent, then we've got to show up in the marketplace demonstrating those. And the reality, what Tegan and peers want really makes a company look good. That's social consciousness and social responsibility. That's continuously investing in the development of our talent. That's flexibility in the workplace. Having a permission-giving spirit is huge for MMA, that we want our colleagues to raise their hands and to say, I want to own this, I want to take this, I want to try this, and really caring about our community and showing up in that way. So Denise is so spot on. Our employees are our employer brand ambassadors. And for organizations to really know that if you don't create the brand that you want, your ex-employees are going to be out there talking about it. So really investing in our team and investing in a way that we want them out there telling our story, that only comes back to us in a positive type of way. So we're really intentional about creating the real story that we want to be told about us out there. And Tegan's a great example of that. And that's why I've been beaming, because she's reflecting things we want to be known as.
Great message. Okay, fun topic now too, I think anyway, which is we're going to pivot away from work. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk specifically about life in Sioux Falls. Tegan came here as a college student. Lots of people do. Many of them stay. Unfortunately, a lot of them also leave. Tegan, what kept you here? What is it about Sioux Falls that's the right fit for you?
Yeah, I still think I go back to, where I came from, that small town. It still felt small enough for me. And I think, 4 years here in college, I started to have a lot of different relationships here and friends and meeting new people. And it just felt like home, and it still feels like home, especially now. I can't believe it's been 8 years since I've moved here. So I think that's definitely what kept me here. And then 2, just knowing that I had an opportunity for a great job at a phenomenal company at the end of my, graduation and at the end of college was a great thing too, to kind of start and kick off my career. So I think it's done more for me now than I ever would have thought back then, 4 or 5 years ago. So
what do you like to do for fun here?
I'm in a lot of leagues, so like volleyball league, as you can imagine, basketball league. I do a lot of golfing. When COVID's not happening, I go to a lot of concerts. So yeah, the downtown scene has become pretty awesome too. It's changed a lot even since I've moved here. So it's fun to see that grow and try to new restaurants and bars and that kind of thing. So
I don't know what your living situation is like, but did you feel like you had options for when you went to look for a place to live here?
Yeah, I did. I actually found an apartment right after college. They're fairly new. Lived with myself, and then actually about a year and a half later, I bought my first house, a townhome. And actually, Sioux Falls has some really great opportunities for either first-time home buyers or recent graduates. So that's kind of actually the avenue I took, and allowed me to buy my first house when I was 23. So kind of cool.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, how many people in other cities have to wait so much longer before they can even think about becoming a homeowner?
Right.
That's fantastic. Good for you.
So one of the things that I want to encourage all the viewers today, and anybody that's going to watch this kind of post-event, we have a great wage calculator on our state website that does really nice comparisons. I moved from Minnesota. Kira, you lived in California, lived in
Ohio,
Indiana, and
yeah.
Ohio. So Jody, you're also from the East Coast. So all of us have benefited greatly by just having that no personal income tax and what that has meant. So, certainly we're talking about a tangible benefit of homeownership and incredible that was, an opportunity for you at age 23. But there's also that wage where your dollar goes further here. So
Yeah, absolutely. And Tegan, you've got a pretty great office too, speaking of downtown, don't you?
absolutely.
It's pretty darn cool. And I'm actually in Kira's office right now. I'm using hers during this pandemic, so that's kind of nice. But we have a nice view of the river, and then we have Ode to Food and Drinks downstairs, so it's nice to have a little restaurant down there as well. So
yeah, you could walk like anywhere downtown over lunch or after work or anything like that.
On every block, there's a coffee shop, which is perfect.
Very true.
It feels like a brewery too. So, post-COVID, all of these will be even better again. But, I would say too, I know with remote work, I feel like your company, Tegan, has been flexible. How have you feel like you've been able to navigate this crazy time in Sioux Falls?
Yeah, and they were pretty flexible beforehand, but we didn't have a ton of remote work or people that wanted to remote work. And I think this has kind of forced us into doing that, obviously. And so really we maybe had like an hour or two that we were systems down or not quite running properly for the first, on March 16th, but ever since then they've been running great. And so I've been working from home probably until the middle of June, and now I've just been kind of coming in as needed. So I'll come in maybe 2 to 3 times a week, which has been nice. I feel a little more organized here than at my kitchen table. So that's been nice too, just to have that flexibility. And they're still, maintaining obviously our safety and keeping that top of mind too. So.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else that you would like to add before I let you go that you think would help people understand your career journey, how you got here, and what keeps you here?
I think the one thing I always tell students when I talk to them is they ask, why was my internship so successful? Why did they want to hire me on after, I was an intern there? And I just always say that I think I was just willing to learn and just kind of curious. And so I would just encourage them to just be curious during your internships or during your part-time jobs or as you start your full-time job. Be curious, raise your hand, be willing to try new things. They don't expect you to be the technical expert by any means, but just knowing that you're willing to try new things and put yourself out there, I think and try your hardest is more than enough. So
I tell students the exact same thing. Great advice. Kira, what do you think? Any message for those students out there, parents who are watching, who are thinking Tegan's career path looks kind of intriguing? What might they need to do to take a next step?
Well, I hope you'll consider Googling our company. Marsh and McLennan Agency is who we are. We are a wonderful organization, as Tegan and I have tried to share today, downtown Sioux Falls, and it's a wonderful community. I've lived here for about 20 years. To all the parents who are wondering about Sioux Falls, and this is a great place to begin your career, grow your family, grow your furry family, whatever that might look like for you. And really, students, a great place to plant your roots and to have a lot of fun and do good work together as a community. This is one community who comes together and to create great opportunities for growth and development for all of us. So I'll add that community spin as close.
Yeah, absolutely. We sure are. And I mentioned at the top, we're calling these Talent Thursdays, and that's for a reason too, because they're leading up to a terrific annual event, Talent Draft Day, which is September 25th, also organized by the Development Foundation. So just to wrap up, Denise, let's talk about what's ahead and what's next.
So every Thursday, we'd like you to join us so you can meet more people like Tegan and Kira. So you can learn about the opportunities we have and the different types of experiences and how these experiences are really rewarding. Some of the things I learned from Tegan today, absolutely huge differentiators when you're looking at talent attraction. So that's really the purpose. The purpose is to really walk, this path as we lead up to the Talent Draft Day 2002. And we're looking at a lot of colleges and a lot of universities where kids are deciding right now where they want to live. And really, I think equally important to that, maybe who needs to be their employer. So I just cannot thank you guys enough today for launching this with us. This is our first one, and we have many more to come, right, Jody?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If they want to find out more about Talent Draft Day, we will have information up about that, right, Denise, if we don't yet? Where should
we absolutely will. So, and they can always go to the siouxfalls.com website, or they can go to Sioux Falls Development Foundation website and look at Talent Workforce for a complete list of all of our events. So.
Yes, and there are lots of them. So in the meantime, thanks so much for watching. Tegan, Kira, thank you so much, as Denise said, for helping us kick this off. We look forward to coming back with you for many Thursdays to come and introducing you to more talent. Again, thanks all of you for watching, and have a great rest of the day.